think it's not sticking to your makeup all that well. As long as it sticks. If it feels like it's coming loose, just press it
Usually
again.
we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, should we do test? Yes, test. Sounds good.
That sounds
Yeah, good.
Good.
All right. Glad I didn't say anything. Test.
You should not be coming through.
I am
Oh, belt.
off. Good job.
Okay, as we get our last couple of people filtering in. My name is Ed Derringer. Good morning. I'm with the Board of Trustees. Please help accommodate the ease of access for seating by moving to the center of your rows if possible. That would be great for helping to ease as later people come in. Be great. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whether you carry joy or sorrow in your heart, you are welcome here. All people of goodwill are warmly invited to join us on the great journey of the mind, the heart, and the spirit. If this is your first time with us today, please let the offering basket pass you by. Your presence is gift enough. We hope you'll join us for coffee and conversation in the community room afterwards. We would love to get to know you and answer any questions you might have. You can also visit the information table next to the exit from the community room. If you're looking for ways to engage with our community and support the work of our congregation, please visit the opportunities table in the far back of the community room after the service. There are a variety of activities that would welcome more helping hands who would love to match you with the opportunity that might interest you. Please remember to silence your cell phone and other electronic devices. Welcome to worship. At this time, please take a moment to greet the people seating next to you.
Whoever you are and wherever you are so very welcome here. Particularly if this is your first or second time joining us, we're glad that you're here with us. Please join me in singing our song of welcome. We are many, we are one, the light of the world is within you. Sacred and worthy is your soul, a place has been made for you. Welcome.
Good morning. Our call to worship today is written by the poet Joy Harjo, a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation. It's called Remember. Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember sundown and the giving away to night. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and her mother's. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories. Talk to them, listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember you are all people, and all people are you. Remember, you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember the dance language that life is. Remember.
Good morning, my young friends and those who are young at heart. Come meet me down front. Wasn't that beautiful? Such beautiful singing. I'm Leslie Harvey, your Director of Family Ministry and Inclusion, and these are my favorite people. Come on down. Oh, so many friends today. I love it. Okay, friends, so today we're going to do more practicing of our musical, The Wish Tree. Do you remember what a musical is? Who remembers? What?
Wish tree is?
You know what the Wish Tree is? What is a musical? Yes, it's like a play, but it also has music. Yes, it's a play with music. So we're going to be practicing the Wish Tree. And if you were here last week, you were assigned a part to play in the musical if you're a kiddo from kindergarten to 5th grade. Does anybody remember what their part in the play or musical is?
Beaver.
You're a beaver.
I'm a beaver.
We have lots of beavers. What else do we have?
I'm a bear.
Oh, we have bears. Yes, bears and beavers. Bears and beavers. I think there are a few other animals in the play, but that's a good start. Okay, awesome. All right, so my friends, this is a very special time of year. It's December, and there are some holidays that happen in December. What are some of the holidays you know about?
Christmas and my birthday.
Christmas and your birthday.
I agree.
It's also my birthday.
Mine is in December 18th.
Mine is December 26th.
Mine is.
Just putting it out there in case
May
you...
7th.
December what?
No.
Oh.
May 7th.
Oh, May 7th. Okay. So, some very special holidays, including birthdays. So, we have Christmas. We have some birthdays. Are there any others you can think of in December? Anybody know of another holiday?
I think.
That was November. You're close. Yep. Yes, some people celebrate Hanukkah. That tends to fall in December. And there's one where we stay up late and we count down and we start a new year. What's that one called? When we start a new year. New Year's Eve. Yes, we have New Year's Eve. Winter solstice. You guys are so smart. What?
There's one more.
What's the other one?
I forget the name.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot. December's very action-packed. So, one question I have for you before we go to classes. You ready? I have a question for you. So, during these special times of year and holidays, sometimes we have traditions, which means it's something we can do kind of every year and we know it's coming and it makes it all the more special. So, can you think of a tradition maybe your family has around either Christmas or Hanukkah or New Year's Eve? Can you think of something that happens every year for your family that makes it a little special? Yeah, is there something you do at Christmas that your family does to make it feel extra special? Okay. Can you think of something, Joaquin?
We decorate our house.
Yes.
And usually we go somewhere.
Yeah, we can decorate our house. That's a family tradition. Sometimes we go places. Do you have another one, Henry?
Our family, so my grandma's coming to see.
Yes.
Her present.
Yes, sometimes people come to visit us. That makes it extra special. And we give presents to family members. One more, and then we're going to get back to class. You ready?
I think a Christmas tree.
Yes, sometimes we put up a Christmas tree. Decorating the tree can be a family tradition. All right, are we ready to go to class and start the fun? Vámonos.
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 Yep, in Spanish.
That's right. You ready to go, Ash? Come on, buddy. Let's go. All right, let's go, friends. Come on. Come on, Sam.
Would you please rise in body and or spirit and join me in doing some singing this morning. If you want to follow along with the music, we're going to be singing We Are Climbing Jacob's Ladder, which is number 211 in the gray hymnal. The words will also be on the screens behind me. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We are climbing on. Every round goes higher, higher. Every round goes higher, higher. Every round goes higher, higher. We are climbing on. If I stumble, will you help me? If I stumble, will you help me? If I stumble, will you help me? We are climbing on. Though the road is steep and rugged, though the road is steep and rugged, though the road is steep and rugged, we are climbing on.
Good morning. And good morning to those of you online as well. I'm Carol Ruckel with the Property Management Committee. In this season, this holiday season, as we look forward, frankly, to receiving gifts from under the tree or around the menorah, we are offering you the opportunity to practice the biblical maxim that it is more blessed to give than receive. If you are online or don't carry cash, that's always an excuse, you can use the QR code or Breeze on the church website. Please be as generous as you can. Thank you.
Jesus Christ was a handsome man. Well, normally somebody brings me the basket at this point. Well, I'll just pretend that the basket has been handed to me and say thank you for your contributions, your generosity to support the larger work and ministry of our congregation. And I just got to say, wow, that was awesome. I have seen Christmas specials on TV that were not that well done. Thank you. Oh, and I want to, if you don't know, you should know, this past week our congregation took part in Family Promise, which means we had homeless families in the building for a week, and that takes a lot of volunteers to make that happen, setting up the rooms, taking down the rooms, cooking meals, and so on. If you are one of the folks who helped make that happen this past week, would you stand up so we can recognize you? I want to note for you in your on the back of your orders of service, there is an item there. We are doing a blue Christmas service this coming Thursday evening at 6 p.m. And that's really, I mean, you might think that's just for people who have a hard time with this holiday, but it's really for all of us. It's for everyone. So I just want to remind you of that and let you know that you are absolutely welcome, and that will be happening. I want to hold up a few joys and concerns of our community and our world. I want to congratulate Nicholas and Isaac, who were married yesterday upstairs in our chapel. I was not there, but I understand it was an event. And I want to hold up the people of Syria this morning, and just the people. I don't have a particular side. I am hopeful that the so-called rebels who have apparently toppled Assad's government will have a little more compassion for the people than Assad has had. But that, of course, remains to be seen. In any case, it's the people that I want to hold up there today. And, of course, I want to hold up the people of Gaza this morning. And, again, cease fire. Stop the bombs. Stop the bullets. Stop the raids. Stop the drones. This road does not lead anywhere worth going. I've said this 100 times. I'll keep saying it. Cease fire. And I call on our own government to stop sending the bombs and the weapons and the bullets that we know, without a doubt, are being used to slaughter innocent people. For our prayer today, for reasons that will become obvious during the sermon, I want to offer the Lord's Prayer from the Bible, but I'm going to do it in two different formats. The first one that I want to read is the traditional one that many of you probably learned in Christian Sunday school. And it was, you may wish to know that it was first spoken in Aramaic, and then it was translated into Greek, and then it was translated into Latin, and then it was translated into many languages, including English. And that one goes like this. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive those indebted to us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Now, as you might imagine, the original is actually quite different. I'm going to share, this is at least one scholar's version of the Lord's Prayer, a translation, translated directly from the Aramaic without having to go through Latin, into Greek and Latin first. O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, Soften the ground of our being and carve out a space within us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear the fruit of your mission. Let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with our desire. Endow us with the wisdom to produce and share what each being needs to grow and to flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny that bind us as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. And do not let us be seduced by that which would divert us from our true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of the present moment. For you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the birth, power, and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once again, and so it is. Mr. Stone. Don't go away. This month is a little bit bittersweet for me personally. I was thinking just a few minutes ago when we were singing that hymn, Jacob's Ladder, I was thinking back about 10 years and you know, Unitarians are not known for being like really good singers. We're not Baptists. We're not in that tradition. But I was thinking back about 10 years and what we used to sound like when we would sing congregational hymns. And I was listening this morning as we were singing Jacob's Ladder, and I could hear you. And there were people standing up with confidence and singing out loud. And you know whose fault that is? It's this guy right here. So, if you don't know, our dear beloved friend, choir director Brian Stone is moving on. He has given us his resignation. He needs to create more time to be a dad and allow his spouse to complete her doctoral degree, and no hard feelings of any kind, I am assured by him, but damn, we're going to miss him.
Amen.
Where's Leah?
This past Thursday before our choir rehearsal, I asked the choir, so what are the important qualities for you all in our next choir director? And they mentioned things like an ability to teach folks with a range of abilities, of course, choral conducting experience, and organizational skills, and a sense of humor, and being non-judgmental and cheerful to work with. And basically, they just described Brian Stone, and we decided that we just need to clone him. And I'm unsure if the community outside of our choir is aware of how deep Brian's expertise runs, but we are saying goodbye to a subject matter expert, and certainly the best choir director I've had the honor to accompany and collaborate with. Speaking on behalf of our choir, we're so grateful for all of the ways that you have elevated our choir's sound by showing us how to sing better, more naturally, more cohesively, with energy and joy. But perhaps even more importantly, you have consistently brought a welcoming presence when working with our choir, warmth and encouragement, patience, and space for people to show up exactly as they are. And your nurturing ministry is the reason our choir is this large, thriving community. As Mike mentioned, your song leading and our congregational singing is completely transformed with you here. And at the time when you started and Mike gave you this challenge to raise the bar, I think my conception of what that might look like was pretty narrow. But you rose to this challenge and you've been inspiring us with embodied song leading, which means you lead with your head and hands and heart and spirit. And you've expanded this community's understanding of how powerful and joyful it is to sing together. And as my closest colleague, this is the part I can't get through. My collaborating sidekick, it's really hard to say goodbye. Last year, as we were designing the Music Sunday, and I was telling you about this new song I was writing for the choir, you said to me, I love how on fire you are about this. And it wasn't just a comment of support. It felt like heartfelt witnessing and affirmation. Creativity can be a vulnerable act, and I have felt safe with you to explore big ideas and create authentically. And you have shown me so many times that it matters to you, not just that I do my job here, but that I thrive in this community. I wish you so much thriving and joy in the coming months.
For the record, I have hard feelings. Tyler has words. Brian, on behalf of the choir, we have a small token of our gratitude. It has been such a joy to make music with you, and we will miss you, but we love you and wish you all the best in this next chapter. So.
One more, you're not done yet. Brian, on behalf.
Christmas is in a few weeks.
It is, but it's now for you. The board of trustees would like to show you our appreciation. Thank you so much for everything you've given to this community. You have made this place a better place, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sure, I'll say one thing. I said everything that I think I really wanted to express a few weeks ago, but I'll just do my darndest to say them one more time. This place became so much more than I ever expected it to be. And thank you for 8.5 years of music and patience and kindness and community. So I'm not leaving Denver, so I won't be too far. So.
So we have a little release of covenant, and I hope there's one of these close to you. And are the slides working again? Good, okay. These will also be up on the screen. Just notice which parts are yours. Brian Stone, these past 8 years, we have worked hard and loved boldly and stretched this congregation in love, in service, and in spirit. You have sung and taught and led and shared your many gifts as a musician and a core leader of our common ministry. This month, we release the covenant we formed in 2016.
Brian, we have loved your energy, your talents, and your leadership. We have grown and learned and celebrated making music with you. We wish you to know that you will be missed, that we will go on, and you're better for having been with us.
So, we have welcomed this opportunity to grow with you in ministry. We have valued your gifts, your passions, and your work. We are proud to have learned with you and from you. We are grateful for all you have given to our community, and we wish you well in the future.
Sorry. First Unitarian, you've been a home and a community I never expected to gain. I've grown and learned. And I'm grateful to you for my time and fellowship with you all. Thanks. I walk forward into the next season of life better, more complete, and more prepared for the challenges and joys ahead. I thank you for all your welcome, patience, and kindness.
With reverence for the past and hope for the future, we wish you well in your future journey of life and faith and family. We thank you for the difference you have made in our loved congregation and trust that your vision and your gifts will touch many in the years ahead. We release you from this covenant of mutual ministry.
If you'd care to, feel free to stand up and stretch for a moment. So, y'all know what a booty call is? So I have it on good authority that anyone under 35 knows exactly what a booty call is. But it's possible some of the older folks here might not. It wasn't a thing when I was growing up, but apparently it is a thing now. Here's the definition from dictionary.com. Booty call, noun, slang. A phone call, text message, email, etc., whose purpose is to arrange a meeting to have casual sex. A booty call is what you might make if you have a friend with mutually understood benefits, or maybe even to your significant other on some occasion. I can only imagine. Honey, I was calling to see if we might be having a moment of mutual desire, or I don't know. Or interest. I don't know. I've never actually made a booty call, and no one's ever made one to me. I really don't know what someone says on a booty call, to be sure. Now, a booty call is very different from a butt dial. A butt dial, as you know, is when you call someone accidentally. Maybe as you're putting your phone down or setting it into your pocket or a purse, and you don't know that you've done it. And whomever you've accidentally called answers the phone, and what they hear when they answer it is the muffled sound of your phone jostling around in your pocket or purse or wherever it is you have put it. Now, why on earth am I talking about booty calls and butt dials in a sermon about the Bible? The thing is, you see, 1,000 years from now, some future anthropologist or historian in a different time, in a different language, from a different culture, is going to come across both of those phrases in the literature of early 21st century America. And they will not know the difference between a booty call and a butt dial. And that is only one of many good reasons why you should never, ever read the Bible literally. So it should always be remembered that the Bible is nearly 2,000 years old. The people in the Gospels, including Jesus, spoke Aramaic, but when the stories were written down 50 to 70 years later, it was into Common Greek. And a few hundred years after that, the Greek was translated into Latin. And 800 years after that, the Latin was translated into English. And every English version you have ever heard or read has been an updated or adapted version of those 13th or 15th century English translations. The point being, it's pretty hard to know what those people in the Bible actually said, let alone what they actually meant. Different time, different language, different context, different culture. In most English translations, in the Sermon on the Mount, spoken by Jesus himself, it includes these words. You have heard it said, an eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth, But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If someone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. That's from the book of Matthew, chapter 5. And a great many translations leave out a crucial word there. They leave out the word right. In other words, the right cheek, not the left one. For centuries, and even today, that passage has been used to teach the value of humility in the face of violence or oppression. Millions of people for hundreds of years have been taught to suffer as they believe Jesus suffered, to endure as they believe Jesus endured, to accept what is given, even if it's abuse, because that is the Christian thing to do. In their beautiful book, Proverbs of Ashes, Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker and Dr. Rita Nakashima Brock write about their Christian roots. And Parker, in particular, talks about her journey of becoming a Methodist pastor in a small town where she preached the gospel as it had been taught to her. That Jesus died on the cross, sacrificed himself for all humanity, endured torture, abuse, and even death in the service of his God. And this is the highest possible example of holy living that's available to we merely human beings. Not in so many words, of course, but that's a big piece of the essence of the central theology of Christianity, if you will. At least here in the Western context. Things began to turn for Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker when she was working with victims of domestic violence in the Hispanic community. Listening to women who had been beaten and abused, being their pastor, hearing their confessions, Parker began to realize that there was a connection between their profound spiritual faithfulness on one hand and the cruelty of their situations on the other. Some of those women stayed with their abusive partners because that's what they believed the Bible had told them they should do. Jesus was the model, and consciously or unconsciously, they had internalized that their suffering made them more like him. Parker began to look into her own life story as a woman, her own body, the sacrifices she had made to please others, to save her marriage, to fit in. I'm going to quote a short passage from her in this book. The gesture of sacrifice was so familiar. I knew the rubrics of the ritual by heart. You cut away some part of yourself, and then peace and security are restored, relationship is preserved, and shame is avoided. I began trying to understand why the gesture of sacrifice was so easy, so familiar to my body, so related to my sexuality, and so futile. Why did I know how to do it so well? Why did the women I knew as friends, counseled as parishioners, preached to in my congregation, know so well how to sacrifice? Through her friendship with Dr. Rita Brock, they began to dig into the historical basis for the doctrine of atonement. And if you're not familiar with the doctrine of atonement, that is the belief that, literally the belief that blood and death were the price that had to be paid for sin. This is why Jesus had to be sacrificed on the cross. And I'm not going to recap their entire book here, but they discovered that this emphasis on blood and death was a much later addition to Christian theology. All those images and teachings that you have ever seen or heard of Jesus that show him bloody and impaled, crying and forlorn, lifting only his eyes up above his destroyed body. Every one of those images were the product of the Dark Ages in Europe, about 1,000 years after Jesus actually lived. There's no mention and no such emphasis in earlier Christianity. Isn't that interesting? Here's another short passage from the book near the conclusion, Proverbs of Ashes. Jesus has been betrayed by his own tradition. A military empire murdered him. His life and work were not furthered by his death. His execution ruptured his community. Its scattered ashes were difficult to restore to fire. We cannot say what would have happened if Jesus had not been murdered, but we can say that unjust, violent death is traumatizing. Christianity bears the mark of unresolved trauma. Jesus' resurrection and the continuation of his movement are not triumphs, but a glimpse of the power of survival, of the embers that survived. Now, in my opinion, that is a powerful analysis of Christian theology. There's a couple things I'd like to call attention to. First is that Parker's analysis didn't just come out of a book, right? It came out of an honest effort to reconcile her belief system with her lived experience and her heart. And the second thing I want to point out is that her story, in my opinion, exemplifies how theology is not just some academic discipline, right? But theology is often the deep, unconscious background assumptions that we all have as we go through life. Amen? And we go through life in a very specific language, linguistic, culture, economic, social class context. These are the things that shape us and our theology. So when Jesus says, if someone slaps you on the right cheek, turn the other cheek also, there's a very specific cultural context for those words that every Christian church I know of just flat out ignores. And it has to do with hands. You see, in the ancient world, in Jewish culture, and also in Roman culture, the right hand was considered the clean hand, and the left hand was considered the dirty hand, the impure hand. And in the cultural context of Jesus' time, everyone was assumed to be right-handed. In fact, people who were left-handed were looked at as kind of suspect, kind of like freaks of nature. So imagine you are facing a right-handed person, which everybody was back then, and they slap you on the right cheek. How could they do that? They have to backhand you, right? They have to backhand you. Now, a normal slap is insulting, but a backhanded slap is degrading. Its intention is to humiliate. And Jesus and all of his listeners recognized this at the time. In fact, Jewish law at the time recognized this fact. A fine for a backhanded slap was double the fine for a normal one. Now imagine you are a poor working Jew in the ancient Roman world. You are powerless and you are marginalized. Your life is not your own, and any active resistance would mean certain punishment and very possibly death. So if and when you are slapped on the right cheek, you would be expected to cower and accept your inferior status. But instead, Jesus tells his people, he says, no, look them in the eye and turn your other cheek forward. And by doing this, you would actually be challenging their authority in an act of very public civil and civic disobedience. You see, they can't slap you with their left hand. That would be considered unclean for both of you. And they can't backhand you again because your right cheek is now turned away from them. The only option you are leaving them with to slap you again would be with the palm of their hand. And that, in the time and culture, would be a gesture reserved for equals. In other words, turning the other cheek in that context is a refusal to be dehumanized or controlled. Turning the other cheek in that context is asserting your humanity and your dignity, demanding your dignity. It is saying, I will not acknowledge and I will not comply with this power dynamic that you are assuming. It is the exact opposite of humility. That's what Jesus was teaching. The exact opposite of humility. Isn't that interesting? We've spoken of this before. I have spoken of this before, but it's worth repeating. It should always be remembered that white people of European heritage were not on Jesus' radar screen. Like at all. The whole message and ministry of Jesus from Nazareth was intended to provide spiritual sustenance and strength and clarity and dignity to a people who were basically refugees in their own land. Living under military occupation, not considered citizens, having very few rights, literally at the whim of any passing soldier. And if you read the Gospels with that in mind and you understand that context, almost everything Jesus says is subversive and anti-authoritarian. Almost every single word. Because that's the context. In my unapologetic opinion, it would be laughable if it were not so damn dangerous that the people in our day who are working overtime to promote Christian nationalism actually think of themselves as Christian. When in fact, there is not one single Christian thing about them with the possible exception of how they spell the word. Again, if you read the Gospels and you pay attention to what Jesus actually taught and actually said, the only conclusion you could possibly come to is that Jesus questioned and even abhorred all human authority, all authority structures, any and all forms of oppression, anything that takes away anybody's self-determination. That's what the Gospels say. I'm not saying that's what Christianity says, or historical Christianity. I'm talking about the Jesus before Christianity. That guy. The teaching was not about how to win salvation through faith or through obedience. It was about this. It was about how to live with integrity and dignity and some spiritual equanimity in a world that refused to give you any. That's the good news. That's the gospel. And at least in my experience, the only American Christian churches that have ever understood this have been some of the culturally black churches in America. Let me wrap this up with one last thought. As you are aware, in just over a month from now, a new administration will take power of the federal government. And they're going to lie to us. We know this. And they're going to abuse that power. We know this. And they are going to hurt people, millions of them. And they're going to hurt the non-human world in ways we don't even know about yet, with policies and practices, and with malice maybe, and sometimes with just sheer freaking unmitigated incompetence. We know this. We have seen this show before. Here's what I want to say to you. Find every way you can to maintain your own sanity. Find every conceivable way you can to keep every last ounce of your dignity intact. Do not let them for 1 second, no matter what they do, rob you of your humanity. Don't comply with that dynamic. It's what they want. It's what they expect. Don't give it to them. I'm here to tell you that to the extent any of us are able to do that, Jesus would approve.
Before we sing together, please join us out there after the service for cake to celebrate Brian. And there are also some blank cards if you would like to write a message to Brian.
Would you please rise in body and or spirit and join me in singing This Little Light of Mine. If you want to follow on with the music, you can do so using the gray hymnal number 118. But the words, of course, will be on the screens behind me. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Shine, oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, oh, let it shine. Building up a world, building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine, building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine, building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, oh, let it shine. Please join me in singing our closing affirmation. Behind all our our differences and beneath our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together throughout all time, through life and death, and the space between the stars, throughout all time, through life and death, and the space between.
My friends, my beloved community, be noble, for you were born of the stars. And be humble, for you are made of the earth. And be kind, for you belong to each other. Amen. Go in peace.